My name is Emma. I am 26 years old. This is the story of how I lost everything in one day and found a better life when I stopped looking back. 5 years ago, I believed I had the perfect marriage. My husband Ryan and I had been married for 3 years. We didn't have a big house. We didn't have expensive cars. But we had dreams. Every evening we sat together on our small balcony. We drank tea and talked about the future. Ryan always said, "One day we'll have a beautiful home." And children running through the hallway. Whenever he talked about children, his eyes sparkled. I believed every word. I believed we wanted the same future. I was wrong. One rainy Monday morning, I felt sick. At first, I thought it was just stress. For several days, I couldn't eat properly. I felt tired all the time. Finally, I visited a doctor. She smiled after checking the reports. "Congratulations, Emma. You're going to be a mother." For a moment, the whole world became silent. Then tears filled my eyes. I couldn't stop smiling. A baby, our baby. I imagined Ryan's face when I told him. I wanted it to be special. On my way home, I bought a tiny pair of white baby shoes. They were so small they fit into my hand. I wrapped them in a little gift box. That evening, I cooked Ryan's favorite dinner: roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, chocolate cake for dessert. Everything had to be perfect. When Ryan came home, he looked tired. His shirt was wrinkled. He barely smiled. "Long day?" I asked. "Very long," he answered without looking at me. We ate dinner quietly. He spent more time checking his phone than talking. I ignored it. Tonight was about our baby. After dinner, I handed him the small gift box. "What's this?" he asked. "Open it." He smiled a little. Then he opened the box. He looked at the tiny shoes. His smile disappeared. He looked confused. "What is this?" I laughed happily. "We're having a baby." I expected him to hug me. I expected him to laugh, maybe even cry. Instead, he stayed completely silent. He slowly closed the box, then placed it on the table. "I need some air." He walked outside, just like that. I stood there alone, still smiling, still hoping. Maybe he was simply shocked. People react differently. That's what I kept telling myself. An hour later, he returned. He said almost nothing. "I'm tired." Then he went to bed. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling. Something didn't feel right. The next few weeks became strange. Ryan started working late almost every night. Sometimes he didn't come home until midnight. He stopped asking how I felt. He never talked about the baby. When I showed him ultrasound pictures, he only nodded. When I spoke about baby names, he changed the subject. It hurt. But I kept making excuses for him. Maybe becoming a father was scary. Maybe he needed time. One afternoon, my best friend Olivia came to visit. She noticed I looked worried. "Is everything okay?" she asked. "I think Ryan is just stressed." She looked at me carefully. "Emma, has he actually said he's happy about the baby?" I opened my mouth, then closed it again, because I realized he never had, not once. That thought stayed with me all day. Weeks passed. One evening, Ryan received a phone call. He quickly walked into another room. I wasn't trying to listen, but I heard a woman's voice. He spoke softly, almost lovingly. When he returned, I asked, "Who was that?" "A client." His answer came too quickly. I wanted to believe him, but something inside me whispered, "He's lying." After that night, everything changed. He started protecting his phone. He never left it on the table anymore. He smiled while texting, but never smiled at me. One Saturday morning, I decided to surprise him at work. I packed his favorite lunch. When I arrived at his office, the receptionist looked confused. "Ryan? He's not here today." My heart skipped a beat. "He told me he was working." She shook her head. "He took the day off." Suddenly, I couldn't breathe. I walked back to my car slowly. My hands were shaking. Where was he? Why did he lie? That evening, he came home around 7. He looked relaxed, too relaxed. "How was work?" I asked. "It was busy." I looked directly into his eyes. "I went to your office today." His face turned pale. For several seconds, he said nothing. Then he sighed. "We need to talk." My heart dropped. He sat across from me. His hands rested on the table. "I've been unhappy for a long time." His words felt like ice. "What?" "I don't think this marriage is working." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "What about our baby?" He looked away. "I never wanted this." Tears filled my eyes. "You told me you wanted children." I changed my mind. "No," I whispered. "You changed." He stood up. "I need space." Before I could stop him, he walked out. 3 days later, I learned the truth. A friend sent me a photo. Ryan was having dinner with another woman. She was elegant, confident, beautiful. Her name was Victoria. She owned a successful fashion company. People in town knew her family was extremely wealthy. Everything suddenly made sense. The late nights, the lies, the phone calls, the distance. He hadn't been working late. He had been building a new life without me, without our child. That evening, Ryan returned home carrying a suitcase. He didn't even look at my stomach. He simply said, "I'm leaving." I stood frozen. "You're leaving your pregnant wife?" He closed his eyes. "This is best for everyone." "For everyone?" I cried. "What about your son?" He remained silent. Finally, he said words I will never forget. "I don't want this responsibility." Those words broke something inside me, not just my heart, my faith in him. I watched him walk out the front door. He never looked back. I placed my hand on my stomach. Tears rolled down my face. Then I whispered to my unborn baby, "I don't know what our future looks like, but I promise you one thing. You will never feel abandoned." The morning after Ryan left, I sat alone in our living room. The house felt different. Every room reminded me of him. His coffee mug was still on the kitchen counter. His jacket still hung behind the front door. For a long time, I simply stared at them. Then I stood up. I picked up the mug. I folded the jacket. I packed everything that belonged to him into a box. When I closed the lid, it felt like I was closing a chapter of my life. I cried that day, not because I wanted him back, but because I had to let go of the future I had imagined. A week later, divorce papers arrived. There was no letter, no apology, only his signature. I signed them with trembling hands. Then I took a deep breath. My baby kicked for the first time. I placed my hand on my stomach and smiled through my tears. "I'm still here," I whispered, "and so are you." That tiny movement gave me strength. A month later, I moved to another city. I wanted a fresh start. Somewhere no one knew my story. I rented a small apartment with 1 bedroom and a tiny kitchen. It wasn't beautiful, but it was peaceful. Every evening, I sat near the window and talked to my unborn baby. "I don't know everything," I would say, "but I promise I'll always be here." Those conversations became my therapy. When my son was born, I named him Ethan. The first time I held him, I forgot every painful word Ryan had ever spoken. His tiny fingers wrapped around mine. His eyes slowly opened. He looked at me, and I fell in love instantly. "You'll never be alone," I whispered. "I promise." Life wasn't easy. Babies cry, bills don't stop, sleep disappears. Some nights I rocked Ethan for hours. Other nights I cried after he finally fell asleep. But every morning I stood up again because I wasn't fighting only for myself anymore. I was fighting for my son. When Ethan turned 1, I started taking online business courses. During the day, I cared for him. At night, after he slept, I studied. Sometimes until 2 in the morning. It was exhausting, but I refused to give up. Slowly, I started a small online business, selling educational toys for children. At first, only a few people bought them. Then more customers came. One happy customer recommended another. Within 3 years, the business had grown beyond my expectations. I rented a small office, then a larger one. Eventually, I hired employees. People started calling me Miss Emma. It felt strange. Years earlier, I had doubted whether I could survive. Now people trusted me to lead a company. Ethan grew into a cheerful little boy. He loved books. He loved asking questions. Every evening he waited by the door until I came home. Then he would run into my arms. Mom. That one word healed pieces of my heart every single day. One Sunday afternoon, while we were building a puzzle together, Ethan asked, Mom? Yes? Where's my dad? My hand stopped moving. I had prepared for this question, but I wasn't ready. I smiled gently. Your father made some bad choices. Does he love me? I looked into Ethan's innocent eyes. I don't know, but I know something much more important. What? You are deeply loved. He smiled. That answer was enough for him, for now. Years passed peacefully. I stopped thinking about Ryan. I stopped wondering where he was. Some people belong in your past for a reason. Then, one ordinary Tuesday, everything changed again. I was leaving my office after a meeting. Ethan, now 6 years old, was waiting near the reception with his backpack.
As we walked outside, someone called my name. Emma. The voice felt familiar. Too familiar. I turned around. There he was. Ryan. For a moment, neither of us spoke. He looked older. His hair showed hints of gray. His expensive suit no longer looked new. His shoulders seemed heavy. Life had changed him. He stared at Ethan. Is that your son? Yes. Our son? I nodded. Ryan covered his mouth with his hand. His eyes filled with tears. I can't believe it. Ethan looked at me. Mom, who is he? I knelt beside my son. This is Ryan. Ethan politely smiled. Hello. Ryan looked at him as if he wanted to memorize every detail. His eyes. His smile. The way he stood. I've missed everything, Ryan whispered. I stood quietly. He finally looked at me. I've been looking for you. Why? He lowered his head. Victoria left me. I wasn't surprised. He continued. We got married, but things fell apart. We tried to have children. His voice became weaker. It never happened. I remained silent. We visited many doctors. They discovered he stopped speaking. The problem wasn't you. His voice almost disappeared. It was me. The street around us felt strangely quiet. For years, he had blamed me. He had abandoned me. He had walked away from his own child. All because he refused one medical test. He looked at Ethan again. I lost everything. Tears rolled down his face. I'm sorry. I was selfish. I was scared. I thought happiness was somewhere else. He looked directly into my eyes. Please, give me another chance. I'll do anything. I want my family back. I took a slow breath. Years ago, I dreamed of hearing those words. Now, they meant nothing. I looked at the little boy holding my hand, then back at Ryan. You didn't leave because life was difficult. You left when your child needed you most. He closed his eyes. I know. I was wrong. I've regretted it every day. I forgive you, I said softly. Hope appeared in his eyes. But forgiveness doesn't mean going back. His shoulders dropped. I built this life without you. My son grew up without you. My hardest days passed without you. You don't get to return only because you're lonely. Ryan started crying openly. I deserve that. Oh, probably more. Ethan gently squeezed my hand. Mun, can we go home? I smiled at him. Yes. Before leaving, I looked at Ryan one last time. I truly hope you find peace. But my peace is already here. I pointed toward Ethan. He is my greatest blessing. Ryan nodded slowly. I understand. As Ethan and I walked toward the car, he asked, Mom? Yes? Was that my dad? I nodded. Will I see him again? I thought for a moment. Maybe someday. But remember something. What? A real parent isn't only the person who gives you life. A real parent is the one who stays. Ethan smiled. Like you. I kissed his forehead. Always. That evening we went home. We made pizza together. We laughed while flour covered the kitchen. We watched a movie on the couch. Before bed, Ethan hugged me tightly. I love you, Mom. I love you too. After he fell asleep, I stood near his bedroom door. I watched him sleeping peacefully. Then I looked out the window. The night sky was full of stars. Years ago, I believed losing Ryan was the end of my story. Now, I understood something different. Sometimes, life removes the wrong people, so the right future can finally begin. I wasn't abandoned. I was redirected. My greatest blessing wasn't the husband who left. It was the little boy sleeping peacefully down the hallway. And for the first time in many years, I thanked life for every painful step that brought me here. Because if Ryan had never walked away, I might never have discovered how strong I truly was. Hush, hush. Moral of the story. Asterisk, asterisk. The people who leave during your hardest moments don't deserve a place in your happiest ones. Real love doesn't run from responsibility, it stays, fights, and grows through every challenge. Sometimes the greatest blessing comes after the greatest heartbreak.